Hello, my friends, family, esteemed colleagues. This is probably going to be the last time I'm going to be addressing this particular question, because for years I'm being asked multiple times my opinion about other people dietary recommendations. I'm a teacher, so before I say what I recommend, I actually dissect and explain how the body works, what is this reality of ours, and what sensibly makes a good diet for us or for animals, depending what type of animal it is. It's all based on observation and deeper understanding. So when somebody asks me a question, well, usually when you ask a question, then you must be quite familiar with both dietary recommendations. You just don't understand maybe why certain thing would work and why certain thing wouldn't work. Well, this is why I explain everything. So don't be lazy. You want to know first, check into it. What do I recommend and where the science about it comes from? What is the driving force behind the science? Very often I'm asked about what I think about a Jones diet, or what, I don't even know how to pronounce it. Jonas. We would say Ionis in Europe. Well, if you know his diet and his recommendations, how can you ask me this question if you know about the science that I'm promoting? So yes, we both promote eating raw meat, but then I explain how important it is, especially for toxic body, to cleanse. And to cleanse, we are losing plasma. Now, I explained that cleansing mechanism of the body is going through cleansing organs, which are kidneys, mucosal tissue, and the skin. And only the highest level of toxicity is being pushed through the skin, especially when there is a low blood plasma levels, because body cannot afford to lose plasma. And this is why I recommend drinking a lot of plasma, water with minerals. Excuse my dogs, can control it. So I explained why. Now, Ionis says, well, we should not take salt and we should limit our water absorption because we get water through fruits. Well, number one, we don't get plasma, which we need. We get minerals through food. We dilute them by drinking water. If you are cleansing and you have to drink a lot of water, you are going to demineralize yourself. You are going to go into dehydration, and you are not going to achieve what you are set to achieve. Ionis is proponent of garlic, onion. I explain that toxic remedies have their purpose, but for well-being, they are suppressing basically the symptoms. But for well-being, you need to cleanse and hydrate and actually open the cells, not to keep them constricted with toxins. So everything about Ionis' diet is contrary to what I teach. So don't ask me stupid questions. Another one, now very often coming lately, is my opinion on what is it called, rapid diet. Rapid diet, yes. Okay? Well, I don't know the guy, so I had to check. And again, he proposes that we need carbohydrate because we need energy from it. And I explained through my work how this is reprogramming the body in a wrong way. We don't need carbohydrate because we don't have any storage for carbohydrate, which means you only get it when you are eating it. And this makes you need to eat multiple times a day. And during the night, when your body actually needs energy to hydrate, cleanse, and repair itself, it cannot do the job because there is no energy left. Because once when you direct the body to run on fat, on sugar, it becomes inefficient running on fat. And I explain why. I don't want to go into details. There will be 5 hours. Right? Then also, Rapid says we have to adjust the diet according to body's needs. So if we have to support the thyroid function, the hormonal function, we have to do. And then he mentions what is best, and usually there are vegetables in there. What is best for this function, that function. And I explain that if we start analyzing the body like mechanic analyzes a car, and what every part, what it needs, and then how you should do things together, well, you have to be scientist then to eat correctly, to supply. We completely neglect the fact that body is self-cleansing, self-healing, self-adjusting robot. And this is why it allows you to change circumstances, to change diet, and not to die. You adapt to that diet. But every adaptation brings a cost. Because if it is not correct diet, again, I explain it. It's like pouring a little bit of diesel into gasoline reservoir for gasoline engine. The engine will start smoking, loses power, but it can run. And in time, you get carbon buildup, and engine works worse and worse with hiccups and seizes. Well, that's what happens with the human body when you start adding carbohydrate. It has the fat reserve. But now you're adding a little bit of carbohydrate with every meal. Well, you start farting, burping, smoking. It's not a good thing. Again, but I explained this. So why you ask me the stupid question, what I think? You know what I think about it. Unless you are lazy. You saw one of my videos where I said, go and eat only animal-based product, dairy, eggs, and animals, animal protein and fats, and load up on plasma so you can cleanse. So if you know that this is what I'm proposing, and you know the science, which I explained behind it, why do you ask me this stupid question? Same as with Atkins diet. None of these diets are good, according to my teaching. Now, am I 100% correct? I don't know. This is why I go quantum. And then there is no shadow of doubt in my mind. Because again, let's recapitulate. Let's make a very quick summary of what is the diet, what is our body, what is this reality. Everything what you see as your reality is light that your consciousness converts into particles so it can make pictures. Everything that you feel is a frequency that your robot is programmed to sense in a particular way, either as a sense of smell, sense of flavor, sense of touch. Those are frequencies. So when you look at animals in nature, what do you see them doing? They eat the food as they find it, in its natural frequency, with its natural sense of smell, taste, and appearance, which means perfectly tuned frequencies to its own body, to its reality. What do? We take the natural vibrating food, and then we start heating it up. What does heating up, what does heat do? Heat raises the frequency. It starts pulsating faster and faster and faster. And at one point, there is a frequency shift that your robot is programmed to, that the shift in frequency now all of a sudden changes the smell. So the smell of the food that was there all of a sudden changes when you're heating it up. But then what else changes? The color. Through light. Light has changed. It becomes brown and ultimately black. Those are toxic frequencies. Again, frequency shifted. If you taste it, taste changed. Another frequency shifted. If you bite into it, the consistency changed. It becomes harder at the beginning. It tightens up. Protein coagulates, loses water, gets dense, becomes mealy, bitter, hard. That is taste of cooked meat. Best seen on liver. You take a piece of raw liver in your mouth, it is actually sweet, slightly sweet, and it's pasty. Just breaks up in your mouth. You heat it up, change the frequency, make it look bitter, dark, bitter, mealy, completely different. So now you are taking this frequency shifted food into your body, and it comes very close to your genetic material, to your cells. It is the same frequency. So if you look at yourself as an orchestra, because every frequency can produce sound, so if you look at yourself as being a complex orchestra, with many trumpets, violins, guitars, violoncellos, horns, and all kind of stuff, and now it's all tuned perfectly, naturally, with the creation, through Creator, and now you bring in these pianos that you tighten up the strings a bit. So it changed the sound. You can still play the music, but try to play it with your body, tuning in your orchestra. It ain't working. It's out of tune. It's like you're taking guitar and deciding, okay, I'm going to tighten up a little bit A string. And then when you play a chord, it sounds shitty because it's out of tune in that one place. When something is out of tune, when you change frequency, you are going to change the reality of it. The reality is actually the manufactured projection of it through your senses. That's what we call reality. Which means every time you heat up the food, you are taking the food out of alignment. Now, there is not a problem if you can maintain the frequency of your cells stable. But if your frequency is unstable, then the impact of these frequencies that you bring in are going to shift them. But it's not only the food. It's every frequency. It could be sound that comes from the outside. It could be electromagnetic frequency from your refrigerator, from your voltmeter, current meter in the house, from cell phone. Why some people are not being bothered with these frequencies and some people are very sensitive. Oh, I'm very sensitive. I'm very sensitive. Why you are sensitive? Because you are very weak in your vibration. Now, what lowers the resilience of your cells to resist the change of vibration? It's voltage. You drop voltage, you depower the cell, and now every little push will make it to oscillate differently, and then we, again, run it through our sensors, and we show to the world, to the reality, that we do not resonate correctly, we are pale, or we are inflamed, or we are in pain, or we are crunched, depending what frequency shifted in your body. Now, how do we strengthen the resistance of our cells to maintain their original frequency? Increase the voltage. So when we are talking about immunity to diseases, there is only one immunity, and this is voltage. Nikola Tesla said it, only he didn't explain it. So now I'm explaining it to you. If we can maintain cellular voltage high, nothing from the outside is going to interfere with our vibration. We can be toxic as hell. We can live in toxic, we can walk on fire. We can be in a fire. And nothing about us is going to change. We're not going to get burned. We're not going to, I don't know, scream from pain. Nothing is going to change. Because you can maintain high voltage and maintain the correct frequency. I explained what is taking voltage down, what is lowering our voltage the most is fear. This is why we are always kept in fear. If you are religious, you are being kept in fear by God that wants to punish you and by devil who's going to do the punishing. If you're in school, you have fear of professor because you're going to say something wrong and you're going to get bad mark, and then at home you're going to get punished. Okay, so we are always kept in line with fear. The biggest fear mongers, besides religion, are your doctors. Oh, you cannot do this because you're going to get that. You cannot do. You can say I'm fear monger because I say you cannot eat this. Well, I do it because I'm helping people who cannot control their fear. If you can control the fear, you would not be in the state you are. Ultimately, it's all fear. And if you don't feel well, and now someone you trust, which is your trusty family doctor, tells you, wow, this looks like a cancer, you right away freeze. You go, cancer, wow, your energy disappears. If you didn't have it, you will get it. This is why they invented this million of diseases. Oh, yes, osteoporosis, you have myalgia, you have, I don't know, encephalitis, you have prostatitis, whatever you want to call it. None of this exists. Not a single disease exists. Body shows you a bunch of symptoms when it changes frequencies. Why did it change frequency? Because you are low voltage. And your cells were influenced by frequencies from the environment, being it your body's environment or environment on the outside. Now, yes, the fastest healing is right here. Become happy. Don't give in to your fears. Start laughing at them. You have heard about laughing therapy. But laughing therapy is like, you actually have to start feeling happy. Okay, so you have to go from the heart. Look at somebody laughing and you look how stupid he looks, so you laugh at his stupidity and he laughs at your stupidity. And this is what is going to improve your voltage. But we always are trapped in fear. Why now the fear mongering with a war? With nuclear war, when we know that there is not going to be any nuclear explosion. Because we are being helped, all the nukes are being disarmed, and if they are not disarmed, they will be disarmed right before being armed. Because as soon as somebody puts attention to something, we know who it is and where it is, and we can do something about it. So, there's not going to be any nuclear war. There will be fear of war. Now, why so much fear right now? Because nothing is working. The ship is not waking up. We have to put Trump in a jail, so some people can kind of start saying, well, I hate the guy, but this is not right. I mean, he didn't do nothing wrong. Right? But for many people, this is not enough. They don't care about Trump unless it hits them. So they have to get scared shitless to wake up. And even then, some will not. Unless they die, nothing will shift. Nothing will change. Because it is very easy to manipulate mind. Because mind is in fear. This is how we are created. For our own protection. But then, it was used against us. So why am I talking so much about diet instead of just going directly to quantum physics? Because people are not ready to understand this. I'm explaining this, maybe just a handful of you understand what I'm talking about. Great majority will be like, I have no clue what he's talking about. It's bullshit. I know I'm doing this more than 20 years. Yeah, I'm tired of it. But I have to continue. I'm showing you how we can cleanse, because when we cleanse, we can achieve proper cellular pH, so the cells can hold electric charge even when we become frightened and energy is drawn out of us, because heart is being rerouted into broadcasting and does not feed our cells, but our cells become disconnected. But if they can hold the voltage, no big deal. But if we are acidic on cellular level, we cannot hold the voltage. So when heart disconnects, when the energy power voltage comes from a heart to the brain to be broken in variety of frequencies and transmitted through the body, if we start transmitted in the air as a thought, our cells don't get it, so they're unplugged. And they cannot hold the voltage they had, voltage comes down, and the cell vibration becomes very frail, easily to be overtaken by vibration on the outside. You have people that have noticed that electric pulsation make their toes cringe. Only a few people react like this. Why? Because they are so low in voltage, that they are so sensitive to it. We always think, oh, more sensitive. This means that you are more, you are healthier, you are more in tune. No, that's not what this means. It's actually the opposite. The robot does not function correctly. There is no other immunity. The immunoglobulins, this is a baloney story invented by Soyans. There's only one immunity, and this is voltage. And since we are living in fear, we can help ourselves by cleansing the cells, hydrating them, so they can then manage and control their own pH correctly and hold on to electric charge. So this way they are more resilient. This is why I talk about diet, because it's much easier to explain to someone how diet works than how this reality works with these frequencies, with the sacred geometry. Great majority of people have no clue what I'm talking about. So I have to start one way and then incorporate more and more of the truth to start opening people's minds and to start showing actually the reality. It's awakening process. You want to eat correctly to be healthy, eat raw, and eat raw what your body is meant to process. You cannot process plants. You cannot process cellulose. Plants are made of cellulose. Plant fiber is cellulose. You cannot digest it. Everything plant has is within cellulose. You cannot get to it. The juice that you get out may contain some minerals, but lately, very little, almost nothing. So you don't get benefit from it. But it will contain a little bit of carbohydrate, and it will contain plant enzymes, and you actually may become allergic to this. Your body starts shutting down when this comes in the body. When cells close the membranes or tighten the membranes so this doesn't go in, it gets poorly absorbed and leaves stomach a little loose because more liquid is left in the gut. You easier pass a stool. So we say, oh, you see, you need a fiber. It has nothing to do with fiber. It's the poison that is there. So we don't absorb well when we eat plant food or juicing. When you juice, when you live on juices, vegetable juices, you are basically in a fast, but also poisoning yourself, so your cells cannot detoxify. They keep tight. When they don't detoxify, they don't pollute blood. The little bit of toxin that comes, those are mild toxins. They do not affect you terribly. So you can maintain fairly clean blood. You feel good. You feel great. Since you don't detoxify on a cellular level, you don't have symptoms of flu. So we say, oh, my immune system is so strong, I don't have flu for 20 years, I'm on the top. Yeah. But you are getting very, very acidic on a cellular level because you're not detoxifying and you're not even hydrating because membranes are tight. And point will come when your body cannot tolerate it any longer. When that happens, you are done. Your body will collapse very quickly. And those that in time started correcting this and go into detox, it may take them 2 years or longer to regain cellular health. To be able to put cells back into the correct pH and cleanse the body in the meantime, because it is a long process. The amount of toxicity that we can hold and live with is staggering. I see it on some kidney patients that are on dialysis for a while. And when they start cleansing, pure acid is coming out of it, burns their anus, burns their urethra, burns their skin as it comes out. That's how toxic they are. But when toxins are stuck away, we don't feel these problems. It's when we start detoxifying, when they hit the bloodstream and they start coming out, this is when you feel them. And this is then what we call disease, which we attack. And we stop. We're actually attacking and stopping detox, cleansing, and healing process of the body. Everything we are being told through this indoctrination, schools, what we call them, is lie. We are learning lies. And we think that we are experts. We are experts in science, not in science. Everything we know is contrary to truth. So through my work, I'm exposing all of this. So before you ask me a question, check my work out. Find answers. They're right there. I'm not holding back anything. I expose everything. Everything is out there in my articles, in my videos. Listen to that. But think. Allow it to penetrate. So your brain can use it then and calculate. So in the future, I'm not going to be answering the questions about my opinions about someone else's diet, because I don't have to do this. There's no need for it. If you know what diet someone is promoting and you know my teachings, so you know the answer, why do you have to bother me? I basically didn't mind, because it's teaching process. We don't have the attention span. We want everything now. But time has changed. We have to become liable for what we do. You want to heal? I show you how you can do it. Easier way. Incorporate diet and detox And then use also your mind, start learning the quantum existence, and incorporate some of it. And more you understand your true self, consciousness, the easier it is going to be for you to gain results. And ultimately, you will be able to eat whatever you want and stay healthy. And you will even initiate cleansing and have clean body while you're eating crap. Because everything is about consciousness. It's all about frequency, how to adjust frequency. And your robot is programmed to do all of this. We may not know exactly how it is done. All we have to do is allow. So you want to change something, you acknowledge it, and allow it to happen. But to do so, you also have to trust the process. You cannot go, okay, I can manifest healthy body, so I see myself healthy, okay. Oh, bullshit, it doesn't work. Yeah, well, your mind doesn't let you. Because you are running with all kinds of false programs, which tell you, are you crazy? This is never going to work. You know better. As long as there is a doubt, nothing happens. This is why it's much easier to correct diet than to change the way of thinking. Changing way of thinking is an even slower process. And you have to be more determined to do it and to let go. And this is difficult. How many people now are holding gold? And all worried about, okay, when I'm going to change this into gold, I'm going to change this. What is better, silver, gold? I don't know. You don't understand that all this is a baggage, that it is going to stand in the way of you and your progress. Because where we are going, we are not bringing any of this with us. Because it's unnecessary. We are going into quantum state, quantum field. So, when you're in a quantum state, you create anything from thin air. All you have to think of it, and you will materialize it. So you want to have a bunch of gold, you just think of it and you get it. But at the same time, to go into that state, you have to be able to let go, which means let go of everything. Are you going to be able to let go of your richness that is sitting in a bank, knowing that, okay, if you go there, this stands behind you? You lose it. Are you going to do it? I know I'm a motorcycle freak and boat freak. I still am watching my motorcycles here and I'm checking the boats and hoping that I will have chance to enjoy them before the shift. And this is holding me back. I'm aware of this. So I also have to let go. We have to be ready for shift. And to be ready for shift, you have to understand what is the reality, who you are. You are consciousness. We are gods. We are creators. We as one. Okay, I don't want to elaborate more on this because it may become too heavy. So give it some thought. And remember, I won't be answering some questions anymore. So those of you who know the answer, help those with questions, but lead them correctly. Don't serve it all on platter. Everybody is responsible for themselves. So at least what we can do is open a couple pages, open a couple videos, instead of, okay, tell me this, okay, tell me this, okay, tell me this, okay, thank you very much. It's all out there. Thank you for listening. I love you very much. God bless you. Namaste.